Hello, fellow Movie Crusaders, and welcome to our Movie Crusaders award show, aka our version of the Oscars, where we are giving away our awards for basically a whole wide spread of categories that Brian and I decided to come up with. Some are your genre based, and then some are just fun ones that we created along the way. My name's Sean Washington. With me, as always, is Brian Michaels. Our big awards, like Best Actor, Supporting Actress, Supporting Actor,
The
Actress, all that
Oscar
kind of stuff.
style categories.
Yes. That'll be done at the end of the month when we do our actual Oscar show / predictions. These are the fun awards. I think it's one of those situations where Brian and I really love just having conversations discussing these things. And then it comes time to shoot the video. We're like, oh, okay, I guess we got to shoot it now. just like the
We should have just recorded the conversation.
No, I told you we should have shot that. You're like, no one wants to listen to us talk, which is exactly what we're doing now. We both wanted to wear tuxes for this, but they were both at the cleaners. So you just get us a regular, we're not an award get up moment for this. But so basically we're just kind of go through our nominees and tell us who the winners are. And these are winners that we decided on. So if you guys don't agree, well, then you guys can make your own award show.
We don't even agree. I'll say that right now. We are not 100% agreement on a lot of picks here. I mean, some of them had nominees that I don't believe should be on there, or vice versa. Maybe Sean didn't. There are ones where the winners we kind of couldn't decide, and we had negotiate and give and take some things. But when you have more than one person, you got to come to a consensus. So while these are not all 100% agreement, this is what we came up with.
This was the mutual winners of the group, where we also have some categories where there's just the one winner. We don't have the nominees for it because it just came down to that's the straight up winner, and we're not going to even try to find.
Or in one category we had 10 nominees. We'll get to that though.
Yes, we do have our best picture version of 10 nominees, just because it was just too damn hard to narrow it down. Like, we knew what the winner was, but we wanted all these nominees to get noticed in some form or fashion.
Yeah, it's not even like the big award of the night. It's just one of the awards that had too many nominees.
It's not. It's literally like 3/4 of the way through. This is our first year doing this. I mean, obviously, now that we know what categories we're going to do, Brian and I said we're going to start paying attention to this throughout the year this year, so that way next year
that was the hard part, is doing all these things in retrospect, trying to remember what was the best scene that had that and what was it. It's like, from now I can plan for it.
Exactly. So this is our first iteration of this. It's going to be better next year, but nonetheless, we're going to start with our first award. This goes to the Hold On to Your Butts Award, aka the best opening sequence of the year. This to us is the move, not necessarily the first opening scene, but the opening sequence up to the point where you get to our credits. That could be 10-15 minutes into the movie. But we're talking about when we think of opening sequence, these are the movies that we've popped up in our head as the nominees. Our nominees go to A Quiet Place Part 2 with the flashback scene, Boss Level, basically his first iteration of going through everything when he wakes up in the movie, In the Heights with the In the Heights song, No Time to Die, basically Bond's regular opening number up till the credits start to roll, and The Suicide Squad, basically their version of Omaha Beach. And the winner for Hold On to Your Butts Award goes to The Suicide Squad for their Omaha Beach rendition. Any thoughts on the word? Brian was really like, that's not really an opening sequence.
Well, no, I said on a technicality, the opening scene is like Michael Rooker with bouncing the ball, and then kind of the assembling of the team. But we're not saying like the opening shot of the movie. We're saying the opening sequence, and that basically is kind of leading into one big long sequence. I mean, I love this scene. It's one of those things just screams James Gunn. He first of all assembles all these people. A lot of name stars. You got Nathan Fillion, Pete Davidson, and whoever else in there. And it's like they have all these characters, all these goofy characters, and they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna kill them all. Spoiler alert, by the way. We're just gonna kill everybody.
Exactly. And of course, anytime you get to watch Pete Davidson get shot in the face, you're like, it's pretty great. And obviously,
the detachable kid in his arms, though, that was the best part.
Yes. I mean, by the time the actual credits pull up The Suicide Squad, you're like, this is flipping awesome. And that's why it has won the Hold On to Your Butts Award. Going into that, our funniest moment of the year, we had a few choices, but we didn't want to make, we knew 100% this was our most funniest moment of the year, which is also going to go to The Suicide Squad. We were battling back and forth between two scenes. One was the Weasel drowning at the very beginning,
Is anyone about to check if wheels can swim?
and then Waller's just. But
So that's the honorary.
that's the honorary mention.
mention,
But our
yeah.
winner actually goes to Peacemaker and Bloodsport, one-upping themselves in the Rebel camp. Everything about this scene is hilarious. I mean, you got the moment where Bloodsport's like, no one likes to show off, and then Peacemaker, unless it's dope as fuck, and then you're going, fuck that shit.
She's right.
It's like this is
Yeah, and then just the
perfect.
gestures they're making each other after every
Right.
kill.
Exactly. The first gesture, and just that Bloodsport played off the gesture as well. I'm not gonna describe what the gesture was, but him just even doing that to like he did get hit with it is perfect. To an actual reveal at the end of the Rebel camp when they realize, oh fuck, they weren't bad people. And then with the Pierre Resistance of Kingfish spitting out a finger, and then Polka Dot Man going, I pretended they were all my mother and I killed them. All that is perfect, and that is why it is our funniest moment of the year. Going into funny, we now go to our best comedy film of the year, and this is a weird list because none of these, outside of like two of them, really scream comedy, but they definitely had their funny moments. And our nominees are America, the Motion Picture, Free Guy, Ghostbusters Afterlife, Mitchell's vs. the Machines, and once again, The Suicide Squad. And the winner goes to Brian.
Free Guy.
Yes.
No, I actually disagree. I think these all scream comedy to me. I mean, that they all seem very much like comedies. Although I will say they're all very different kinds of comedies.
I was gonna say there was no straight up like a Jackass movie or like
there's the comic book one, there's the sci-fi comedy, there's the animated comedy, there's and then there's Free Guy, which is a movie that I know Sean was his most anticipated movie of the last 12 years or however long it took to come out.
like 2 years.
But yeah, I mean, and it very well could have not been that great. I mean, it's Ryan Reynolds doing Ryan Reynolds, which is funny, but you wonder, will it get old? Will it be too much? The concept of it is kind of a Wreck-It Ralph kind of thing that's already been done. But then it just turns out it was just a hilarious movie with great performances, top to bottom. One of two from Jodie Comer, who was great in it. It was surprisingly kind of touching and emotional. Like when he realizes what situation he's in. But the action was fun and everything. But really, it was just the comedy. Everything from the jokes Ryan Reynolds was telling to right down to people that are like teabagging or jumping against the wall in the background. Just the little touches throughout the entire movie.
The beautiful inside jokes to anyone who plays video games. There's so much comedy in this movie that the average person who doesn't play video games does not see, but the actual gamer, it's laugh out loud. Like you're laughing, and people around you who don't understand games are like, what is so damn funny? It's like, you clearly can't see the dude who's jumping up and down running into a wall of the building because he's just a newbie gamer. And it's like there's so many great little moments, and that's why it's our comedy of the year.
Yes.
We were going to just straight up give this one to this next award, but we did have an honorable mention from a different film, and this is the Furries in the Conference Room Award. And for people who don't understand that, watch the Weekend Crusaders episode where we talk about the Avengers, not
the 1998's The Avengers,
yes. Where literally something happens in a movie and you go, what the fuck? It's the what the fuck moment of the year.
Yeah.
Our honorable mention is from The Kingsman, which is the Rasputin tongue action scene. That's all we got to say. If you've seen the movie, the scene we're talking about.
Yeah.
Where the most awkward, just like, what the fuck is going on?
It's Rasputin's behavior, and then Ralph Fiennes' character's reaction to it is just as what the fuck.
Yeah, but that pales in comparison to our actual winner. We did say the whole movie, but let's be real. It's the twist reveal of this movie. This is a movie that literally after the movie ended is like, we need to shoot a spoiler review for this movie right effing now. And that goes to Malignant. Malignant, I enjoyed the film. Brian did not, but it holds a special place in our hearts because we both said we will never forget ever watching this movie.
Whether or not you liked the movie, it was either way, it was a total what the fuck moment.
There's so much. If you guys have never seen Malignant, you need to see Malignant. That movie is the the epitome of what the fuck, and that is why it is the Furries in the Conference Room Award. I love the name of that award.
If we accomplish nothing else today, I want people to go check out the Avengers just to see what we're talking about.
Just look up the Avengers and Bears. You're welcome. Going into Malignant, we are going to go on to our best horror film of the year. This is a category I'm actually really proud of the list we got here because it's a lot of movies that we really probably wouldn't have thought would have made it this year. This is my surprise category of the year. And our nominees for best horror film go to A Quiet Place Part 2, Don't Breathe 2, The Fear Street Trilogy, Last Night in Soho, and Night Books. And Brian, who was the winner for best horror film?
The winner for best horror film goes to A Quiet Place Part 2.
Yes, I really was rooting for and championing a Fear Street Trilogy, and Brian almost let me have it, but I did pull back because like it did need all three movies in order for it to work, and A Quiet Place just needed the one. And so we gave Quiet Place the win on a technicality because I mean it did what it did in one movie, 2, 3 movies for the Fear Street.
Either way, to be fair, I haven't seen it. So.
Yes, and Brian hasn't seen that or Night Books, and I didn't see Don't Breathe 2.
He fought hard to get both those on there, so I am curious to watch them. But
yes,
but because he wanted them on there for sure, so they're definitely worth checking out.
But yes, definitely all 4 movies technically are on Netflix, so check out those if you have not checked them out. Going on to our next award, it is the best sci-fi fantasy film. Basically anything that was fantastical in its storylines or sci-fi is on this list. And our nominees are Dune, Finch, Ghostbusters Afterlife, Godzilla vs. Kong, and The Tomorrow War. And the winner for best sci-fi fantasy goes to Ghostbusters Afterlife. Brian, anything you want to pitch or say about Ghostbusters Afterlife?
No, the Ghostbusters has always been kind of one of those weird ones. Like, well, is it a comedy? Is it a sci-fi? Is it a horror? You know, it's kind of hard to classify, but it definitely falls into the sci-fi fantasy category, if nothing else. This is a movie again that could have gone either way. It could have been horrible. It could have been great. It turned out to be surprisingly emotional, but still had plenty of funny moments. Had all the sci-fi action you could ask for. So yeah, this one for me was a fairly easy pick. I mean, I like most of the other movies, but it was an easy pick for me.
Now we're heading to the action sequence or the action piece part of the award show. As now we go to best action scene. Sadly, we don't have a cool name for this one. It's just the best action sequence of the year. Our 5 nominees are the prison break scene in Black Widow, the breaking into the building / final sequence of Kate, the final shootout or basically final everything of The Harder They Fall, the port escape scene in Jungle Cruise, and the final battle in Spider-Man No Way Home. And the best action scene of the year goes to The Harder They Fall. Yes, Brian can say that this was like literally the last 30-40 minutes of the movie, but nonetheless, the whole like shoot at the OK Corral-esque kind of town thing to the fisticuffs between Zazie Beetz and I'm blanking on her name all of a sudden.
Regina King?
Regina King, thank you. The colors, the way the camera work goes, the music for it, the brutality of the fight scenes, to even the brutality of the shootings of this film. Everything about this movie is perfect, and I love this sequence. This is the one sequence of the year, action-wise, outside of our fights, which that fight scenes are their own separate category. This was, to me, I went back and rewatched this because we're like, I want to make sure we're picking the right winner. And I was watching this whole thing going, I love everything that they do in this whole sequence. And Brian had to rewatch it because he didn't remember it. And luckily he decided to.
Well, I watched the movie and I liked the movie when I first saw it. But I had not watched it since like it very first came out. I'm not sure what part of the year that was exactly.
August or
September. Yeah, so I was like, you know, before I'm picking winners for these categories, I want to try and be informed. So I'm like, I'm gonna go back and rewatch that. And instead of just rewatching that scene, I rewatched the entire movie, which it jumped up into my top 10 for the year, which it had been outside of the top 10 originally. Great movie, great new director, everything about it. But right now we're talking about action scene. Yeah, The Harder They Fall. It is like the last like 40 minutes of the movie, but it still is essentially one long sequence. There are different things going on, and like there's a fight scene going off here, shoot out down on the street, things like that. But it's all part of the same scene, so it definitely is deserving of this. But yeah, everything about it. It's not necessarily the most action. You know, in something like Spider-Man, there's a lot more going on. It's not the flashiest action, but it's the action that just it's the most effective. And I thought it was
I think it's the cleanest
Yeah.
cut shot of the year. Going to our next specialty category, we dubbed this award the "You Should Go Watch The Night Comes For Us" award because it's the best fight scene. Once again, you should definitely go watch The Night Comes For Us on Netflix. We should start getting paid by that. As much as we promote that movie, we should start.
Really should. And I just rewatched it again like last week, and that movie. I mean, like I will say, give it if you watch it, the first 20 minutes or so starts off a little iffy. Once it gets going, though, oh my god!
Once you get into the apartment complex,
so much action. It's amazing. But yes, but on to the nominees for this.
So yes, this is the best fight scene, and this is the 10 nominee award. There was just so much.
There's a lot of good fights this year.
I think we had 20 nominees, and we had to cut it down to 10. I was like, I can't cut it down any further. Like, we have our winner, but I can't cut it down anymore. And our 10 nominees for the "You Should Watch The Night Comes For Us" Best Fight Scene award goes to Godzilla vs. Kong, the first city fight in Hong Kong, Gunpowder Milkshake's bowling alley fight, Kate's Japanese spa fight, the Kingsman Rasputin fight, The Last Duel's The Duel, Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero vs. Scorpion Final Battle, Nobody's bus fight, Shang-Chi's bus fight, 2 bus fight scenes this year, the Spider-Man No Way Home apartment fight scene, and the Suicide Squad Peacemaker versus Rick Flag. And the winner for the "You Should Watch The Night Comes For Us" award goes to Brian.
Kate. A well-deserving fight scene. We have a winner of this award. Kate is a movie that not nearly enough of you have gone and seen. It is an action scene starring an action movie starring Mary Elizabeth Winstead. And this scene in particular is just amazing. If you like that John Wick-esque action, I believe there is some gunplay involved in small parts of that scene, but most of that scene is knives and swords and all kinds of just fists and elbows and kicks and stuff. And the way it's filmed is amazing. The fight choreography is amazing. There's just the way the look of it, the way it's done, because it's done this Japanese style, like those white like paper walls and things like that, and just the red blood splattered up against that. I mean, the way it looks is amazing. Just everything about this for me was just the most powerful, the most awesome fight scene of the year.
Yeah, we were going through the list, and I basically told Brian, I go, the winner's got to be Kate, and you're like, oh, I totally forgot about that scene. It's like, we need to go back and rewatch it. We went back and rewatch it. We're like, oh yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah,
this is the winner. This is the winner, hands down. Just the like I said, the brutality of it, and the way they left you in the shot of the brutality. They didn't do like a quick cut or anything like that. Like, you saw the brutality of that scene, and beautifully shot with the director and the camera work, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead doing her stunts for it. Everything about it was great. Thus, going to our best action film of the year, the nominees for best action film are Boss Level, The Harder They Fall, Gunpowder Milkshake, Kate, and Nobody. And the best action film award goes to Boss Level. This was a movie, once again, Brian told me about. He got to see it way before everyone else did.
About 4 or 5 months earlier.
Yeah, about almost a half year earlier. Told me I was going to love this movie. He was excited for me to watch this movie. Finally did, and it was one of my favorite movies of the year. It stayed in my top 10 the entire year. Action, comedy. I love the cast. Everything about this movie, I loved. And if you guys have not seen Boss Fight, it's on Hulu. Check it out. It is one of the most fun movies to watch of the year. Anything you want to add for Boss Fight?
Again, just an underrated, underseen movie. If you break it down into a log line, yes, it's a Groundhog Day, but with an action movie. That's essentially the concept of it. But just the way it's done is so good. And Frank Grillo is perfectly cast because this guy who's going through this thing over and over again, and the way they use that, and the way he trains himself from day to day to be able to, because it is a video game, to be able to get past the next level like you do when you're playing a video game. You play it 100 times through, you're learning a little bit more each time to get farther in it. It's got a great blend of action and comedy and everything. And yeah, it's well deserving.
And Frank Grillo is one of the most underappreciated actors in Hollywood, hands down. The next 2 awards, it wouldn't be us if we didn't have some stinker awards. I mean, we take pride in shitting on movies when we can. We only did 2 I wanted like 5 more, and Brian's like, let's just keep it to 2. And I was like, all right, fine. Because I wanted to attack worst performance and all this stuff. We didn't do that. But
And both of these were almost 10 nominee categories too. Just we had a lot of.
we did. This award is the You Done Messed Up Ron Award, aka the most disappointing moment / you fucked up, aka moment of the movie where you just messed everything up about this film. There was no turning back. The nominees are F9, finally overstretching their believability, which Brian, you want to acknowledge that a little more what that meant?
Yes. Well, the Fast and Furious franchise has always been stretching the limits of believability, but even from the trailer, you're like, really, are they going so far that I can't even follow you on this? And in this movie, well, the entire movie, but I think the one that stands out is in the trailers. It's how the car catches the string and basically swings across the chasm, and then there's the whole space scene, and just the movie as a whole, you're just like, I can't even know.
And then
not too far this time.
And there's one where Tyrese is literally surrounded by like 15 people shooting at him, and not a single one of them lands.
Yeah, it's hard to enjoy a movie when you're just like, okay, yeah, no.
Next is Halloween Kills, the whole movie. You messed from the get-go. You messed this whole movie up. Next one is Home Sweet Home Alone, by making us care about the burglars and hate the kid. How do you fuck up the actual DNA of what a Home Alone movie is? Mortal Kombat, using a creative fighter to kill Goro. If you want my real thoughts on this, watch the spoiler review for Mortal Kombat. About 50 minutes into the review, you will see it. And finally, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, by doubling down on the romance, not bromance, the romance of Eddie Brock and Venom.
And the comedy in general.
Yes. And the winner for the You Done Messed Up Ron Award goes to who, Brian?
Halloween Kills. Halloween Kills was, the Halloween 2018 came out and people were like, hey, this is actually pretty good. Especially people like me who have not been into Halloween. I was like, I actually kind of like this rebooted iteration of it. So I'm looking forward to this one. I mean, they changed everything about basically who Michael Myers was. He's like staging kills and things, and then there's you sideline Jamie Lee Curtis for most of the movie, and then there's the stupidest mob ever put together in movie. Evil dies tonight, and it's just everything about this movie took all the goodwill they built up with that first one and just gone.
Yeah, it makes us wonder exactly what's going to happen in this third film. Our final stinker award goes to the Napoleon Dynamite Award for most overrated film of the year. Now, granted, all these, I think Brian's seen one of these movies, so this is more my award than anything else, right? You only seen one of these, right?
I've seen 2.
You've seen 2. All right, so the nominees go to.
The one I completely agree with. Sight unseen.
Yes. Yeah, he's like, I'm totally okay with you picking this as the winner. The nominees are Dune, The Green Knight, The Last Duel, Licorice Pizza, and Nightmare Alley. And the winner, cold-hearted winner, is Licorice Pizza. Yeah, I mean, this movie's just so overrated. And, like, this is where the movie snobs come in going, this is one of the best films I've ever seen. It's really not. Dull casting, stupid story. Bradley Cooper's the best part, and he's in 3 minutes of the movie. Like, this movie's pretentious up its own ass.
The inappropriate relationship, which in like some other movie people would criticize as the worst thing ever, but because it's this artsy Paul Thomas Anderson movie, it's okay.
If you swapped the genders, people would be losing their mind.
Sexual predator at that point.
Yes, but for some reason it was okay because it was the female going after the young boy. But yeah, Licorice Pizza, most overrated film of the year. It's okay at best, not one of the best films of the year.
And with I would like to add a footnote that I did not agree with the Last Duel nomination.
You what?
I did not agree with the Last Duel nomination. I just want to put that on the record, because I mean, but Sean feels strongly about it that it's getting more credit than it deserves, so it's on there. Just one of my words.
Movie, but a lot of people are really going way overboard about it, and it needs to be put in its place. Just like Nightmare Alley, didn't hate Nightmare Alley, but a lot of people were like, it should be Best Picture. No,
we're not saying worst movie of the year. That'd be a whole different list.
Yeah,
it's just overrated.
It's just overrated. Now we go back to our fun ones. This is more the Brian categories here. Best musical film. Brian loves his musicals, and shockingly, there's a lot of good musicals this year.
There were a lot. This is a great year for musicals. It really
This is
was.
a great year for musicals. Instead of going with our niche category, we're going to go for best musical right off the bat. Our best musical film nominees are In the Heights, West Side Story, Tick Tick Boom, Encanto, and Cyrano. And I don't know why I read that out of alphabetical order.
I was wondering the same thing.
Because they weren't written down in alphabetical order for some reason. Same thing with the next one. But, Brian, who's our winner for best musical film?
The winner for best musical is In the Heights. In a year full of great musicals, In the Heights is one that, from the opening number, obviously, was nominated for best opening, all the way through the end. The music was spectacular. The dance scenes and everything was staged beautifully. I loved the story of it. I loved the acting of it, aside from one Oscar bait moment, which is that surprisingly the one moment I didn't like in the movie.
We both didn't like.
Yeah, and it had really some of the best songs of the year. Was my number one movie of the year all the way up until Spider-Man came out. So.
Yeah, it was definitely in my top 3 for the entire year. Also, the Oscar bait moment.
And that's a non-musicals guy.
Yes, that is a non-musicals guy saying that. And yes, the Oscar bait moment did not get them an Oscar. Nope. So kind of makes you feel like that scene should have been removed from the movie. But it was definitely a fantastic film. It's probably my most rewatched film of the year as well, because I've got back and rewatched this many, many times. Thus, going into our best musical number of the year. Don't have a snappy title for this one. It's just the best musical number, best song, best performance, best everything for the musical. And our nominees go to Don't Talk About Bruno from Encanto, 96,000 from In the Heights, Carnival from In the Heights, No More from Tick Tick Boom, and America from West Side Story. And Brian, since it's still one musicals, I'm going to let you go ahead and go again. Who is the winner for best musical number?
96,000.
96,000.
Yeah, this was tough. This was a category which we almost filled the whole thing up with just songs from In the Heights and West Side Story largely. But while Carnaval de Barrio is a great song, 96,000 I think is the one that's it's got the most life to it. I also love the way it's staged because it moves into, from just the four guys walking down the street into the pool area. The song evolves into sections and it just builds and builds. Yeah, and you have little moments for all the different characters, from the guys to the females to the big group chorus. It's got so many different styles of music in it. It was just staged beautifully. I think the choreography, the way they used the pool and everything, it was great.
And definitely, to me, the most re-listened to song from In the Heights track as well.
Yes.
All right, going on to the Martin Scorsese Award, aka Best Comic Book Movie. Because
we know he loves comic books.
No one likes comic book movies. What are you talking about? The box office says so. And the nominees for Best Comic Book Film go to Black Widow, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Spider-Man No Way Home, The Suicide Squad, and Zack Snyder's The Justice League. It came out this year, and it's a different movie.
It's all nominated.
But nonetheless, the winner goes to, obviously, our number one film of the year, Spider-Man No Way Home. I mean, what more is there that we need to say? We said it in a long spoiler review. It was the best film of the year, hands down. And it is obviously the best comic book film of the year. Going into that, we are going to the I'm Not Crying, You're Crying Award for the best emotional moment of the year, which Brian and I both were like, there's one clear-cut winner in this, so we're not even going to come up with nominees. And that is also from Spider-Man No Way Home, which, spoiler warning, the moment when Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker saves MJ. That whole moment, his reaction, his emotional, everything to that moment brought tears to my eyes in the theaters. It made Brian emotional. Literally, it's the best moment of the movie.
Yeah, I said it in our Spider-Man review. It's like even just the look on Peter's face. It's like 2 seconds of the movie, and it's the best moment of an already great movie.
Yeah. Like I said, there's no contest. We didn't even try to look for something else. That was the clear-cut winner. Now we go to the Jaw Dropper Award, aka the best surprise / twist moment of the year. And the nominees are the Marvel Star Wars moment from Free Guy, Harold Ramis's ghost in Ghostbusters Afterlife, The Rock or Dwayne Johnson actually being dead in Jungle Cruise, Aunt May dying, spoiler word, spoiler review, I guess, in Spider-Man No Way Home, and the Peacemaker turn/flag death in the Suicide Squad. And the winner for the Jaw Dropper Award goes to Brian.
The Suicide Squad. Peacemaker's turn. Now they kind of hinted at that through the movie. It wasn't completely unseen that Peacemaker was going to turn, but when he finally goes and how far he went, and of course to killing Rick Flag, I don't know if anybody saw that coming. It was definitely a major moment. It kind of defined Peacemaker for went on to the series, which phenomenal series if you haven't watched it. But that moment basically creates what the character's dealing with in that show, and it was just a great moment in the movie.
Yeah, it was one of those moments where we thought that Peacemaker, we always thought Peacemaker was going to do something at some point, but then he started to kind of really develop a relationship with everybody. And then when he leaves King Shark, you're like, oh crap, something's happening. But it was more the fight itself, which was nominated, and the actual Rick Flag, like, holy crap, that was, besides Harley Quinn, to me, that was the one character that was not going to die. Death, which, like I said, led on to the Peacemaker series with great volume of importance, and that is why it won our Jaw Dropper Award. Next is the Yes, We All Saw It Award for Best Cameo. This is for not we were very, very suggestive with our cameos this year. We didn't want we didn't want a cameo to be someone that was in the movie for very long. They had to be in like probably less than total, like what, 5 minutes of screen time, I think was what our thing was. Like we try to keep it.
I don't put a number on it, but yeah. It wasn't going to be like Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire. It was going to be
we weren't going to put them in, and it was like
cameo.
It had to be an actual cameo and not like an actual supporting character of the film. And the nominees are Channing Tatum in Free Guy, Chris Evans in Free Guy, Olivia Wilde as Gozar in Ghostbusters Afterlife, Matthew Murdock in Spider-Man No Way Home, and Taika Waititi in The Suicide Squad. And the winner for the Yes, We All Saw It Award goes to Channing Tatum in Free Guy. Like literally at the beginning of the film, when the actual beginning of Free Guy, we're like, was that Channing Tatum? It was like, but you didn't know. And then we see Channing Tatum, and that moment really almost rivaled for funniest moment of the year with Suicide Squad. Channing Tatum came in, and we always said this, Brian and I, if Channing Tatum is okay with making fun of himself, he's one of the most entertaining people ever. And this was Channing Tatum just straight up making fun of himself, and the most deserving of the greatest Yes, We All Saw It Award, because it was one of the highlights, if not the highlight of the film. Second to obviously Chris Evans's little like one line of the film. Anything for Channing Tatum?
No, like you said, I mean, the opening, like, hey, was that Channing Tatum? And then, when they bring him back later in the movie, I mean, it still qualifies as a cameo because there's small parts. But when they bring him back for an even funnier scene later on, it all works so great.
Yeah, doubles down immensely. It's so good. Our next award goes to the I Got Next Award, aka the Best Breakthrough Performance of the Year. This is for actors and actresses that we didn't quite know, or we knew in maybe smaller roles, actually coming through the forefront and becoming, in our opinion, stars to look out for and stars to pay attention to in the coming years. And the nominees go to Jonathan Majors in The Harder They Fall, Anthony Ramos in The Heights. I'm going to say this wrong. David Dashmaloshin, say it.
Dashmaloshin, something like that, yeah.
From the Suicide Squad, Polka Dot Man, guys. Robin DeJesus in Tick Tick Boom, Anjanou Ellis for King Richard, and Ariana DeBose, or is it DeBose?
There's been a debate about that. I've heard it pronounced both ways.
For West Side Story. And the nominee for I Got Next Award goes to, Brian?
Ariana DeBose. Or DeBose.
Will probably also win Best Supporting Actress this year. Who knows?
DeBose. I don't know. Yeah, this was kind of, it's a strong field. Any one of these deserving of the award. But it's kind of hard to argue with Ariana DeBose. I mean, she's obviously been nominated for Best Supporting Actress for a reason. This is definitely her breakthrough. I mean, she was in a background part in Hamilton. She's had small parts in a couple of movies. But this is definitely her breakthrough because now everybody knows who she is. She went from this to be nominated for an Oscar. She's hosted Saturday Night Live. She's already cast in the Craven movie in the Spider-Man universe. So it's obviously her career has been hugely launched by this, and she definitely broke out this year.
Yes. And our final award, just like the SAGs, we're going with Best Ensemble Crew, Best Ensemble Cast. From lead to bottom, this was the best group of the entire year. And the final award and the nominees are The Harder They Fall, In the Heights, Spider-Man No Way Home, The Suicide Squad, and West Side Story. And the award for Best Ensemble goes to The Harder They Fall. Hands down, this cast, everyone in this movie puts on an A+ performance, whether it's Idris Elba playing this over-the-top looming villain to Jonathan Majors playing a hero, which I think was like 2-3 weeks earlier, everyone got to see him as Kang and Loki. So he had this kind of aura around him, to Lakeith Stanfield's character, to Delroy Lindo. I mean, you can just go down the list.
Jesse Beats, Regina King, Damon Wayans Jr., even RJ Seiler, who I had not really seen in anything besides Mean Girl and the Dying Girl. He was great in this. Yeah, but that's the cast top to bottom. This was a great cast.
Yeah, this is a phenomenal
not
cast.
A single weak performance in.
Not at all. And I want everyone in this movie to just be better and just grow and grow and grow from this. And once again, go watch The Harder They Fall on Netflix. It is phenomenal. That is our awards. Overall, the most nominations goes to The Suicide Squad with 9 nominations and 3 wins, with Spider-Man No Way Home following right behind with 7 nominations and 2 wins, and In the Heights with 6 nominations and 2 wins. Yeah, I mean, and before anyone goes, oh, you just won Suicide Squad, Spider-Man don't win. I didn't tally all this stuff up until after we already made our nominations and wins. We just basically were like, these are the ones that are going to win for us. Yes, there's not a lot of prestigious films on here, but let's face it, prestigious films are not fun to talk about. And we're going to be talking about them at the end.
And that's not who we are.
No, I mean,
you have 2 different people host their show, and they're going to pick all the prestigious films, and good for them. This is the kind of movies that we're into, and this is our picks. Yeah.
Yes, and like I said, in 2 weeks when we do the Oscar show, those movies will be talked about and brought up. This is the fun show. This is where we get to talk about this is definitely the Martin Scorsese award show, where we're talking about movies that he probably doesn't consider good films and films that aren't worth mentioning and talking about. And we're talking about these.
The Oscars aren't going to have best what the fuck moment.
No, and they should. Poor Malignant snubbed again. But and no one's gonna have the overrated award. They will be doing most popular at some point. But these are our awards. We like to have fun with these. Like I said, it's our first year doing this. Next year we're going to be a little more thorough with it. Maybe come up with some new awards as well. We hope you guys enjoyed these. I think for the most part, anyone who watched any of these films, you guys are kind of be like, yeah, those are some good picks, or go, oh, how come that one didn't win? Well, you know what? That's fine. These are Brian and I's picks. You guys obviously have your picks. But nonetheless, I'm excited for what 2022 is bringing us. There's already some nominees from movies that have already come out that I'm like, okay, they would definitely go here, 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 and here. I can't wait to see what this 2022 is going to bring. But that's our episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Weekend or Movie Crusaders. I'm so used to saying Weekend Crusaders because we did that so much. If you guys did, hit that like, share, and subscribe button to the channel so you guys stay up to date with all the latest videos pop up on the Movie Crusaders. Of course, we get the follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. We did do a flip this week. We were supposed to do the actor, actress, director showcase, but we decided we've been coming up with all the nominees and all stuff this week. We're just going to shoot this one this week. So next week, we will be doing the actor, actress, director showcase with Bruce Willis, Sandra Bullock, and Edgar Wright. And like I said, the following week after that, we'll be doing the Movie Crusaders Oscars. We'll be going over predictions and our choices for those prestigious awards, not awards. And then also we will have movie reviews for Turning Red and The Adam Project that come out this week. Next week, the 17th is... I'm blanking on it in my brain. I know The Lost City is the last week of the month.
Next week may or may not be Operation Fortune was one of them, and actually I think that's it.
Oh, The Outfit.
X will be coming out too.
Yeah, and X. But yeah, till next time, I'm Sean Wascrew. This is Brian Michaels. Also, check out my review for the Batman. Like I said, Brian did not want to do a spoiler review, so we did not do that. But we did do a fantasy dream casting where we casted who we thought we were going to play in the future films. So check out all those as well. And until next time, in case we don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Movie Crusaders.
You're still here. It's over. Go home.